It should be live. Should be live. There we go. And so you just see me, right? You don't actually see the screen. Okay, all right, that's fine. I should put on some headphones, though. Very bad. What? We're early! What? People are like, what? This is not right. All right.
Whatever you did, you have much better resolution this time.
There we go. Now I hear you.
And I was just saying we have much better resolution than we did last week. Like last week, the resolution of my image was really kind of crappy.
Yeah. I don't know why.
Okay.
You can see I have a lot of monitors now, right? I'm like looking up there. Yeah, no, over here. Huh. Down over there. What's going on? Yeah, it's a lot of monitors. I wonder if people can see us.
They can. They're responding.
I see them there. John Suffle, I don't trust water. Fish piddle in it.
It's true.
It is true. All right. So, once again, as I do, I've changed everything because that is the way I operate. So we're trying a new streaming software called Open Broadcasting Software. And I thought I'd try that on the simpler version, which is Astronomy Cast, before I do it on the more complicated version, which is, of course, the Weekly Space Hangout. So a couple of things. Can you hear me?
Hello. Actually, can you hear either of us?
Yeah, exactly. Can you hear both of us? So if you can hear me and can you hear Pamela? That is the first question. And then the second question, if the answer to that question is yes, does it sound like crap? Because last time with the Weekly Space Hangout, we were getting audio was sort of the dropping, the balance was wrong. So it was like it was going out of the left speaker and then it was going out of the right speaker. And then it was returning to both speakers. You know, and like what do you do, right? Like your computer is this mess of software and hardware. And somewhere in there is the fix to the problem that you're having. And so the solution that I went with was just to take the whole gnarly, nasty thing and just throw it out into the backyard, let it sort itself out for a little while, and we're just going to try a completely different broadcasting software today, which actually is a lot simpler.
And I like the resolution a lot better already. So
yeah, I don't. That has nothing to do with it. That has nothing to do with it. It has nothing to do with the resolution. Am I this way? Yeah, okay, that's better. Defrag it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you just defrag the computer. Let me just run that right now. Anyway, so I think this is good. I'm waiting for the Open Broadcast software to betray me, which is inevitable.
It always will.
Yeah. No, it's just a matter of time. I was actually talking with a friend of mine this morning that, you know, you think about like a crafts person who's like working with their tools and these really nice tools that they really appreciate how well the hammer works and the way their chisels work and all that kind of stuff. But imagine like in our world, our tools are complicated, nasty, half broken devices of betrayal. And that's what we depend on, is something that is just destined to betray us. So
well, and the thing is, like with your normal artisan, like for instance, we'll take a chef, a painter, they own a kit of brushes, a kit of knives, and they can expect to use these for the entirety of their career.
Yeah, I really like this knife. It worked so well.
Shears for hairdressers. With us, it's like in the middle of the night, gremlins come in and redo all of our tools. And then we get up in the morning and it's just like, well, I don't like this. And we don't have a choice. The gremlins have minds of their own.
Yeah. I've told the kids, like, I no longer give them technical support until they've turned whatever's the thing off and back on again. That's just like, don't even talk to me. And I'm like, did you turn it off and turn it back on? Well, no, I didn't think it was turn it off and then back on. And then it turns out that that's what was required. I see like a little bit of you bleeding off the top there. Let me just see. I'm just going to make this a little bigger. Oh, there we go. All right.
Okay.
So hopefully this will work. So please, everybody, let me know in any way that this sucks, except for like the actual quality of our conversation and the show and the intelligence. Like that part, you can't judge us. But no, feel free to judge us. You will anyway. Well, who are we to tell you? In fact, tell the internet not to do something, they'll do that thing. So whatever you do, don't praise us, I think is the way that works. Anyway, yeah. So let me know if there's any technical problem whatsoever. Seriously, I need to know anything, and I will try to get to the bottom of it. Does the Slack freeze? Does the Pamela's stream freeze? Anything we want to know.
And I'm trying to fix my lighting so that I'm not a half-lit face.
Yeah. I'm going to say hi to some people because we're so early. We're like, wow, we haven't even started yet.
Whoa, bad light. Bad light.
Graham wants to know what happened to the Google Plus version of this. So Google Plus is in the process of detaching, really killing Hangouts on Air.
Yeah.
And they're incorporating some version of it into YouTube Live, but I'm not really sure. But I could see the writing on the wall that they were going to take this away, and I knew that we needed to figure out how to live stream on our own. So that is, I could sense the blood in the water, and I switched the method of streaming with of course what happens, right, is that it sucks and it's hard and it's complicated and I break everything, but I'm never afraid to just keep grinding forward, causing wrenching change on everyone around me. And sometimes they hate me and sometimes it works, and they hate me.
And those of us who love you are simply used to this, and we let you test all the technologies first.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, they're used to it now. It's pretty funny how back in the day I used to change things, and Nancy at Universe Today would be like, why do we have to change this? That thing worked so well. But now they're just like, I'm like, this is the new way we do things. And they're like, yeah, that's fine. Okay, sounds good. Till it doesn't work, or if it does work, then great. All right, so I'm going to say hi to Adam Synergy and to Curtis Corbett and Doug Joseph and Giselle Sabarin and Graham Stickings, Guido Bibra, John Suffield. Sorry, Guido, I will always get that wrong, and I apologize forever. Nancy Graziano, Nicola Williams, Ranko Prozo, Serena Rakasha, Sylvan Westby, Simon Love, Tech Tang, The Stealth DJ, Thomas Traneker, and Tom Van Scotter. So you might notice that there is a chat going on down there in this window. Pamela, you can't see it. You have to trust me, it's there.
I'm trying to remember which of our Slack channels
it's in the Weekly Space Hangout crew Slack. And it's the AC live chat.
Found it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So that is the new way that we incorporate chat into the show. Now, you're wondering, like, how do we get into that chat? And the way you get into the chat is you join the WSH Crew's Slack channel. So go to the WSH-crew.net and check out, there's instructions just on the homepage on how to join the Slack. I'm sure someone is going to put a link into the YouTube chat so you can see it over there. And this is a great way for you to just continue the party with the rest of the fans, to really help sort of be the behind the scenes production team on all of the shows and projects that we work on. So there you go. That is that part out of the way, and it sort of gives us a better filter for who can communicate directly in the show. So, so if you're a spammer, then at least we have your email address, which I guess is what you wanted us to have anyway. Anyway, okay.
No, they went ours.
Yeah,
have theirs.
Yeah, we have your email address. We know where you live. So today we're gonna turn things on its ear, and I'm gonna be talking about the video games that I love, and I guess you're gonna be asking me questions. Yes. Or are you just gonna be really literally sitting back and just listening to me ramble?
I will be pausing you and asking you questions.
That sounds good. And unfortunately, because this is going to be an audio podcast, we can't actually play these games for you in real time. But maybe, I don't know, maybe when the show is over, I'll try to fire up a game or two and we'll try playing some games. So, but my other plan is, I mentioned this before, is the boy and I, Logan and I, are going to play some video games probably once a week. And we'll probably play some space game. And then my hope is to like bring in a special guest like you, Pamela, who will just hang out and we'll just answer questions and just, just play games, which will be a lot of fun. So that'll happen. Okay. I am ready to press record. Are we a little early? One more minute.
Okay, we can do that. Folks now want to get matching jackets for all of us.
wsh-crew.net/GoSlack. There you go. There you go. See, and Larry Beckham just said, one chat to rule them all, one chat to find them, one chat to bring them all, and in the darkness bind them. Gregory Alley says, Kerbal Space Program, the only game that has made me quit, go to the living room and do 3 pages of differential equations.
That's one heck of a rage quit of a video game.
Yeah, exactly. Wait a minute, that insertion maneuver should have worked, and then going off and doing some yeah. So drag isn't solvable, so I learned Python to emulate launches. Good. Maybe fire that code back into the program. Okay, cool. Well, please, once again, let me know if anything breaks. I take full responsibility for it and will aim to fix it as quickly as I can. Whenever you're ready.
Okay. I think I'm ready. I'm gonna press record. You ready to press record?
I'm ready to press record.
I am pressing record.
I have also pressed record.
It is recording.
It is also recording over here. Hooray. All right. Here we go. Astronomy Cast, episode 421, Space Games. Welcome to Astronomy Cast, our weekly facts-based journey through the cosmos, where we help you understand not only what we know, but how we know what we know. My name is Fraser Cain. I'm the publisher of Universe Today, and with me is Dr. Pamela Gay, the director of CosmoQuest. Hey, Pamela, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Fraser. How are you doing?
I am great. For anyone who missed it last week, let us remind everyone that they can come and hang out with us and watch an eclipse.
It's true. If you go to astronomycast.com, up in the primary navigation, there's a little link that says trips. The only trip we currently have planned is to see the great American eclipse next year. We're going to be watching it kind of from the middle of the country with a few days of activities here in St. Louis. We're going to be renting buses, and on the day of the eclipse, we're going to go to where the weather is best. Our primary location is probably going to be Carbondale, Illinois, which is where NASA is going to be hosting their web stream. And then if their weather is bad, we'll play it by ear with plans to either go to Mizzou in Missouri or to stay put in St. Louis. So come join us for a bunch of learning how to take photos, learning the science, and then going off and just seeing it all happen live together.
That sounds great. I think the slots are going to fill up. I don't think the first episode where we mention this has gone live yet because editing problems. But so if you are interested, you might want to reserve. So.
We only have 70 slots left when I looked Friday.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah. And we haven't really even I'm just going to tell the close fans first, and then we'll sort of roll this out to larger and larger audiences. So if the cruise that we did a couple of years ago is anything like it, it should fill up pretty quick, and then we'll try and figure out how to fit more people in. Okay, great. All right, well, here we go. So as you probably know, I'm an avid video gamer, especially if it has anything to do with space. Today we turn things around. I talk about the games I play and what I think you should be playing too. All right, Pamela, begin.
So this episode, we are turning things on their heads. I have a bit of an addictive personality, which is great if what you're addicted to is doing science, but it becomes really bad if you install video games and forget that you're supposed to be doing science. So most of the time, I just choose to live vicariously through Fraser. And the thing that I've enjoyed listening to you talk about the most for the past, 2 years now is Kerbal Space. So can you start off by telling us what it is and what it does?
Right. So the Kerbal Space Program is it's a video game created by a company called Squad. I think they're out of Mexico City, and it's been going for a couple of years. It was in sort of an early access beta, and I think it's now actually an official launched video game. You can pick it up from Steam, or I think you can buy it directly. I pick it up from Steam. Whenever there's a sale on it, a Steam sale, like 40% off, I recommend that people go and pick it up. And what it is about is it's this idea that there is this alternate universe space agency on this planet called Kerbin, and there is these creatures called Kerbals, and they're these sort of adorable little plankton plant creatures. And they run this space agency called the Kerbal Space Program. Now, the thing that makes it so different from the sort of the reality is we have here is that they have literally an unlimited budget for space exploration and enthusiastic support from the public and from the administration to do anything and try anything. So it really is an impossible situation, and yet here it is. And so you play the game, I guess, as the administrator, chief engineer of this fictional space agency, and build rockets, build aircraft, build satellite space stations, lunar reconnaissance vehicles, everything that sort of exists in our current understanding of space exploration. And there are these wonderful Kerbinauts who are willing to jump on board and go off into space. And the game itself is fairly simple, and yet it is a really good recreation of how space travel actually works. So there's the vehicle assembly building where you build your rockets. You've got all these different parts, different modules, different fuel tanks, different rocket engines, and then you go out to the launch pad and you launch these things off, and it's got atmospheric drag and orbital mechanics. And then there's lots of targets in the solar system you can go to. There is the moon, but Kerbin is the main planet, and then moon, M-umlaut-U-N, moon, and there's another moon to get to, and then there's other planets like Mars, I think it's called Duna, and Venus, and all the way out to like Pluto, and you can try to recreate what it's like to explore space.
Now, it sounds like you sort of get to be the person that Elon Musk wants to be while you're playing this game. And you have a whole lot of freedom. Now, let's say you just wanted to sit down and give it a quick play. What is like the bare minimum game that you can get away with?
Well, the game is to just start playing the game, I find, is fairly complicated. And you'd think that the campaign mode is the way to go, but the campaign mode is
so. Wait, modes? What modes?
Yeah, there's different modes. You can do a campaign mode, or you can just do a sandbox mode. I think there's another mode as well. So the campaign mode, you start with with money in your space agency, and you have a certain number of Kerbinauts, and they gain experience, and you can try to and you take on contracts, and as you fulfill the contracts, you can unlock new kinds of equipment, and you can and in theory, I think it's really designed to try and help you sort of play it as a game. But I found it's actually a lot more complicated to play it in campaign mode. I really like to just play it in sandbox mode, where you've got access to unlimited budget, all the gear, endless volunteers who will step into your crazy contraptions and fly off into space. So I think that's the best way to start, is go into sandbox mode, and then you want to build the most basic possible rocket that you can, and then sort of increase your technology from there, and sort of understand how all the different things work. YouTube tutorials are great, but that's just sort of the way to get into it.
So you can do everything, from what I understand, from just trying to get in low Earth orbit to let's launch Kerbinauts to the moon and beyond. And it gets continually more difficult as you go. Now, what are the different variables that it lets you play with as you go?
Well, it really recreates to a fairly high level of accuracy the realities of spaceflight and orbital mechanics. So you've got, as I said, you've got atmospheric drag. You've got, the amount of your fuel to weight ratios of your rocket. You've got just the way orbits function. And I've mentioned this sort of in the show before, which is that I learned more out of the way spaceflight works by playing Kerbal Space Program for a couple of hours than I ever knew for more than a decade of space reporting. That I didn't understand why you fired your burn at apogee and how you did a translunar orbital injection and these kinds of things, and every sort of the intricacies of the way it works. So once you start to play with that, and so as you said, the options are things like how stages work, why you use solid rocket boosters versus the liquid boosters, and why you need thrusters while you're up in space to change your attitude, and why aerodynamic wings and stuff work. So it really kind of teaches you all of those pieces one at a time. And then things like docking and going on spacewalks and doing EVAs on the moon and things like that. And you really, all the parts and pieces are there for you to play with, as well as this whole world of aerodynamic stuff, building airplanes and even space planes, single stage to orbit, things like that.
Now, one of the things that I've really loved talking to you and some of my staff members like Corey Lehan is you're just like, well, in Kerbal Space, when it comes to discussing like how Dawn is moving through the solar system, the launch of OSIRIS-REx, and there's this whole, well, but I don't know how you would do that in Kerbal Space, or I learned from Kerbal Space. How do you learn all of this stuff in Kerbal Space? Let's just stick to the orbits. How does it teach you about orbital injections?
Well, so the way I learn is just with goals, right? And so I'm like, okay, I want to make a thing get off the launch pad. And then you learn how you stack up your rockets and how you change the order of the, how this stage goes and then that stage goes and then these things fall away and then the parachute goes if you press the spacebar one more time. So you understand how that all works. And then you set yourself a goal. Like, I want to get off the ground. And then I want to get off the ground and not kill my pilot, which, and
this is an adorable process I'll go to in a moment.
Yeah. It's a lot, but I think it's a very worthwhile goal to not kill your Kerbals. And so I really try to not kill my Kerbals, even when I'm trying out new experiments. So I always try to think about how to make sure they stay alive. And then just getting into orbit is actually really tough. The first time, it took me a long time to just get a rocket that would go into orbit. And I kept having to mess with the different kinds of launchers and fuel tanks and staging to get to a place where I actually was able to get into orbit. And then once you're in orbit and you're just kind of going around and around and around Kerbin, then they have this great system where you essentially plan out what you want your new orbit to be. And then it calculates a place where you can change where you can then thrust. It gives you a direction to thrust and a duration to thrust, and sort of tells you what the new meters per second change that you need to make. And so you could speed up time and slow time. You wait till your rocket gets to the place where the orbital maneuver needs to happen, and then you turn on the rocket and fire it for the duration. You can see your new trajectory match the planned trajectory, and when you're locked in, then you continue to drift to the place where where you were anticipating to go. And so so the next stage is to try and get out to that moon. The next stage is to try and then land on the moon. The next stage is to then take off from the moon and try to get back to the Earth and re-enter the atmosphere. And that's, each one of those is just a goal that you just take another step, and all the pieces that you've learned then come back and are useful the next time you want to do another mission. Now to land on Kerbin's other moon, or to try and make it all the way to Mars. Once you understand the orbital mechanics, the the process is very similar each time.
Now, there's a fabulous pun in the YouTube chat where Thomas Treneker writes, Kerbal is learning by fire. And it's quite true with Kerbal that well, unlike with actual spacecraft where failure really isn't a preferred option, with Kerbal there's a whole lot of blowing things up, and dying Kerbals are actually quite adorable. Can you say anything about this?
Well, the great thing about the Kerbals is that they are a plant-based species. They're solar powered, so they don't die of oxygen deprivation or hunger. So if you put a Kerbal into a solar orbit, it escapes Earth's orbit and they're in escapes Kerbin's orbit and is in the solar orbit, they're just going to go around and around and around, and they're happy about it. They don't mind, they're fine. And if you want to go and rescue them later on, you can. So that is weird. Okay. So that is fine. They can't handle certain temperatures. They can't handle certain G forces. So if they crash onto the ground too hard, or if they explode, they die. And that is sad, and it's not adorable. It's I feel like it is a failure for me as the person running the space agency. They're very durable though, so it's that you can kind of push them to the limit, and they're not gonna break. And you can especially leave them there floating away as they go around and around the sun until you can organize a rescue mission or not.
I love that, or not organize a rescue mission. Yeah. Yes. Oh, we have an invader.
Oh, dog just joined the show.
So, okay, we should be able to keep talking, and we'll have a dog in the video, I guess.
Well, one thing that I think is also pretty great about the game is there's a really active mod community. And so all of the kinds of mods that you might imagine, things like more realistic physics, make it more like NASA, a lot of those technologies are provided by the mod community. And so, if you want to kind of make it more complicated and more specific, cooler graphics, you can mod all those things in.
So this is the game you talk about the most, but it's not the only space game out there that you're playing. What is your next favorite game?
Well, I'd say my next favorite game is this game called Universe Sandbox 2, which is exactly what it sounds like, right? It is this sandbox of the universe that you can just drop stars, planets, you can run simulations of the solar system, but then you can do crazy stuff, right? Like you can drop planets into the sun, you can drop moons onto the earth, and they will do a great job of sort of recreating what might happen. If you ever wondered what would happen if you dropped 15 moons into the earth, and who hasn't, you get to see what happens. But then other kinds of things, other strange planetary systems, binary systems, put a black hole in the middle of the solar system, see what happens to the planets. And so it's really great for understanding the orbital mechanics, the way those kinds of things work. That dog really wants to get your attention.
So I found, this is Eddie McFlufflepaw. I found him on the side of the road about a month ago, and my husband just left for the grocery store, and he's very bored and currently chewing on my arm. Not actually closing his mouth, just putting it on my arm.
Sorry, podcast listeners, a large white dog is continues to jump up and push on Pamela's chair.
It's a Flufflepaw.
So Universe Sandbox is great. Universe Sandbox 2 is great, and they're actively updating the most recent alpha version, which I like to run alpha, has Roche limits in it, which is great.
So you're pulling things apart and creating rings.
Yeah. So we do things.
Have you destroyed the moons of Mars yet?
I tried, yeah,
Okay.
but the version I've destroyed the moon, no problem. I haven't tried destroying the moons of Mars. I mean, I'm trying to recreate what will happen in the far future when Phobos gets torn apart by tidal forces because
Right.
it's spiraling inward to
Gonna
Mars.
happen.
Yeah, and so I was trying to do that actually for an episode of the Guide to Space that we're working on, but I haven't got it to run the way I want to. So, but the moon for sure, and it's great. It's amazing to sort of see the moon just get torn apart and see, it's like Seven Eves. You watch the moon get torn apart, and then the debris rains down on the Earth, and yeah.
So, what is the most destructive you have so far been to our poor solar system?
Oh, yeah. At a scale you can't even comprehend, right? I mean, you have access to supermassive black holes. You have access to entire galaxies. You have access to the largest stars possible. What did I do? I wanted to see what would happen if I put the sun inside the largest possible red giant star, for fun.
Because you could.
Because I could, yeah, just to see what happened. I've tried putting a black hole inside a red giant star.
Did you put a black hole inside a Vulcan?
No. I could.
You could.
Yeah, I could absolutely smash a black hole into Vulcan.
So we have Graham Stickings asking, what is the difference between these games and simulators?
There is no difference. Well, I think
I think that's the definition is laughter.
Well, no, but I think
strict simulators don't have the kinds of things that make you giggle while you're streaming.
Well, I actually got a chance to talk to the folks from Universe Sandbox. They were on the Weekly Space Hangout a couple of weeks ago, and I asked a fairly similar question to them. And the problem is actually it's the shortcoming of the computers that they're having to create these platforms on. So, for example, with Kerbal Space Program, it doesn't allow for Lagrange points. And it doesn't have anything on planetary tilt. Someone's mentioning this in the chat. And there's a bunch of other things that it does. It provides a different kind of physics that roughly simulates the way mechanics, orbital mechanics work, but not perfectly. And the same goes with Universe Sandbox. When we talk to them, they're like, well, actually, the complexity of our simulation is good, but if we wanted to get to a level where it could really do some work that scientists could use, it would wreck computers, right? Like it would just be too much. It just wouldn't be a fun game. And I think that's it, right? Are you having fun? Then it's probably not a useful simulation, right? But are you taking a Beowulf cluster of supercomputers and grinding it to a halt? Then chances are you're doing some science. But at the end of the day, you're doing the same thing, right? You're thinking like, I wonder what would happen if I dropped the moon into the Earth, right? Both scientists have thought of this and run the simulations, and people playing Universe Sandbox have thought of this and run the simulations. And the outcome is really just the scale and quality of the simulation. So so I'd say Universe Sandbox is like the second favorite game, and those are like simulation stuff. But I've got a ton of like just super fun space games that have nothing to do with the law, a very rough connection to the laws of physics that aren't as useful for astronomy. So what is a general roundup of your more fictional games that you love to get involved with? Yeah, so I think people are mentioning this in the chat, but I would say my favorite sort of role-playing game, first-person shooter game is the Mass Effect series. So they do just an absolutely terrific job of, the gameplay is not super great. There's much better shooters out there, cover shooters, things like that. But the story is so good. It is the most compelling take on the Fermi paradox that I've ever seen handled in a video game. And I don't want to explain how they resolve it, but I think that the way they resolve it and the way you encounter it and the way you sort of understand our place as human beings in the universe is just wonderful. And that is great. Let's see. There's an old game called Homeworld, which I really enjoyed, which was sort of like a space battle simulator. And that was actually like 10 years ago the game came out, I think, and I played through the campaign and beat it in Homeworld 2. And then they remastered it, which I've just purchased a copy of it, and I haven't picked it up yet. So that's sort of a great sort of space, and it's not like a simulator necessarily. Like you're not in a flight simulator, but you're sort of running these fleet battles with these spaceships in sort of real time. And I played EVE Online a bit, which is I don't know if you've had a chance to play EVE Online. It's a massive multiplayer game with tens of thousands, millions of people playing the game. The stories of Mass Effect, of EVE Online, where people come together in these enormous battles with thousands and thousands of people on either side, and the fate of the galaxy is decided, and there's backstabbing and intrigue, and is great. I just find that I never could get to that point. I just got killed in silence as I was flying my little ship from place to place. So a lot of people really enjoy EVE Online, and if you're looking for a game to really sink your teeth into and make a lot of connections and friends and political intrigue, you should definitely give that one a shot. I tried No Man's Sky, which I don't know if you've had a chance to hear about this. So they simulated like 18 quintillion planets with this random simulation system, and each planet was completely unique, and nobody would ever see the same planet twice. But it was kind of boring.
Okay. Well, if they simulate the whole thing, then there's a whole lot of empty space and a whole lot of
there's just all these planets. Like there's they throw the laws of physics pretty much out the window, and instead there's these planets. You travel from planet to planet, and each one is rendered, and they're big. And you fly your spaceship around and you land, and then on the surface of the planet, you just zap things with your laser beam and pick them up. So it's, there's a lot of hype, and now there's been a lot of backlash, unfortunately, to the developers, Hello Games. I found it kind of, you're like, wow, this is really incredible. And then a few hours later, you're like, I think I've seen this before. This is getting kind of boring. There's a game that I'm really looking forward to. I haven't tried yet, called Star Citizen, which is sort of a very similar idea, like EVE Online and kind of like No Man's Sky, but it's done by the people that did Wing Commander back in the day. I don't know if you know Wing Commander. Yeah, so I'm pretty excited about that. They're still, I think, in alpha right now and should be coming out into sort of a wider release. But they're doing a Kickstarter and kind of growing that. And then Elite Dangerous is another game that's pretty fun, which is more of a simulator space fighting game where you've got a spaceship and you travel around being a trader and getting into fights against pirates and things like that. The cool thing is that apparently they've got really good support for Oculus Rift, and so if you want to play those kinds of games with an Oculus on, that would be great. Let's see. Some people in the chat are recommending some other games they really liked. FTL, which I agree. FTL is this game. It's sort of a weird game, but you sort of have a top-down map plan of a spaceship, and then you travel from star system to star system and encounter other ships, and then you kind of do damage to each other and pretty get to the final boss, which I have never gotten very far into the game. It's pretty rough.
With all of these different games, we have Kerbal is on Steam, Universe in a Box. Where can people find that?
Universe Sandbox. You can get that on a lot of these. You can get them on Steam. FTL, Homeworld. Yeah, you can get them all on Steam. So and Steam opens things up to be run on all sorts of different operating systems. So it's no longer the day that I remember when, unless you owned a PC or a game box, you couldn't play a game. Nowadays, Linux, OS X, doesn't matter. The gaming world is still open to you. Yeah, I really recommend. I think PC gaming has really gotten a whole new sort of resurgence now. I mean, maybe people are going to say it never went away, but I sort of went through the Xbox, PlayStation world for a while there, and now I just own a nice gaming PC, or a PC for streaming Astronomy Cast and other shows that we do that happens to require pretty beefy video card and processor. And then I just pick up games on sale and just sort of slowly make a larger and larger library of games. I'm embarrassed to say how many games I have in my Steam library. But that's the way I recommend now for people who are into gaming is get a PC. You could probably get an entry-level gaming PC for just a couple $100, $300-$400. If you already have a screen and keyboard and all that, you don't have to spend more than $1,000 if you really want to make something fancy. And then the games themselves you can get them in bundles. You can get the games relatively inexpensively. They often go on sale. So you can build up this library of games for pretty cheap. And I can share my library with my kids. So really, this is their legacy later on. If they move out of the house, they'll take my Steam library with them and, off to college. So that is, that's the way I personally recommend that you get involved in this kind of stuff. And some of these games you just can't play on PlayStation or Xbox. So.
And it really is starting to hit the point where games can be realistic enough that they're learning experiences, they're social experiences, and you get that full collaborative, whether it be discover the universe or destroy the universe. Yeah. You get that full collaborative environment. So this has been a really great half hour of me asking you questions. Is there anything that we need to announce before we end the show? We still have surveys up and running. Links are on Astronomy Cast. Please go complete the surveys. Sign up for our eclipse trip next year if you're able to make it. And stay tuned because awesome things are to come. And we still don't have a topic for next week, but that will be coming too. And next week is actually in 5 days when we record live on Friday.
So friend me on Steam. I'm Fraser Cain on Steam, so if you want to friend me, then we can hang out. And then not you, Pamela, everyone else. And then, as I mentioned, if you join my channel on YouTube, the goal is for us to play some space games once a week and try and bring in a special guest. So if you want to hang out with me and play some games and talk to the guest, then make sure you join. You subscribe to my YouTube channel. The Universe Today, Fraser Cain 1 on YouTube. So that is the shameless self-promotion I'm going to add.
And everything will be listed on astronomycast.com. So click on over and we hope to see you online.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you. And now we save. Welcome to the boring part of the show. That was good.
Okay, let me save. Desktop. That was episode 421. Mm-hmm. And I'll put it in the dropping box.
Yep.
My CPU never bogged down during this recording. I'm impressed.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
So this is apparently the superior software.
And it's free. I spent a lot of money on the other software. Thanks, patrons. All right. Let's see. Okay. I don't want to bog down my world, so okay.
So pause Dropbox and then.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll remember to do it later. No problem. All right. So let's play some Universe Sandbox. If you're up for it.
I am completely up for it, but you have to share your screen with me. So someone is asking.
Oh,
yeah, I don't think you can do that right now.
I can in a weird way. All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Graham Stickings is asking, when you get to episode 451, will you do something about paper or sci-fi? I don't know yet, but you have planted seeds of ideas in our mind, and now we shall do something special for 451.
Oh, this is worthless. I can't. You're right. I can't show you my screen. I can take the camera, right, and I can point it at my screen, like this for you, Pamela.
That works.
Okay. All right. We'll run Universe Sandbox in, and I don't know how badly this is gonna wreck my computer. All right. I'm gonna start up the Universe Sandbox then.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna try putting it into a window for the users.
Okay.
Just hang tough. People, no one else can see that. All right. Whoa, there's some music. I don't know if that's coming through.
No, not yet.
It won't come in for you. What if I unplug my... You might get some echo. Let's see. Yeah, you're probably going to get echo. Do you hear that?
So far.
Okay. And can you hear the music? Okay. All right. So let me see if I can add a thing. Window capture. There. So you can't see it.
Now I can.
Wait, okay, let me just attach that camera to that. This is not my best idea. All right. So that's for you, Pamela. That screen is for you.
Appreciate it.
Oh, come on, buddy. All right. All right, so you can see that.
Yeah.
Fans can see this, I think. How many cameras? Susie wants to know how many cameras I have. I have a lot.
All of them. You have all of them. Well, no, I have 2 on my system.
Well, the problem was that the camera wouldn't let me create a virtual camera out that Pamela could see. So I had to fake it. So I had to take another camera and attach it to my computer, and then so that Pamela can actually see me. She can't see this real. Okay, so let's just all right, let's play the game. So we're going to open up an existing simulation. So let's just start. It starts with the solar system. So let's start with say Saturn's rings. You're echoing, they say. Yeah, you probably will. You're not gonna. You know what? I'm gonna put you back in the headphones so you don't have to. People have to hear it. Okay. All right. So can you hear you can't hear the audio at all, right?
No.
You can just hear me. Okay, never mind. That's fine. All right. So here's Jupiter. Sorry, here's Saturn, with its rings, right, and its moons.
Cool.
Yeah. And then we can do things. We can add things. So let's add another body to it. Let's give it, for example, Mercury. Now we can set it as a still, or we can make it orbit, or we can make it. So let's make it orbit Saturn. And so I can sort of pick the orbit here. So I'll just put it into orbit around Saturn. So now I've given Saturn Mercury as a moon, right there.
Cool.
Yeah. And then I can do things, and then I can launch them. So now I'm going to launch Mercury at Saturn. Well, let's go out a little bit here. All right, we're going to launch.
As you do.
Yeah, so we're going to launch Mercury at Saturn.
You're going to launch a bunch of Mercuries at Saturn.
Well, you know what the Mythbusters say, if things worth doing. Oh, they all crashed into each other. Well, that was disappointing. All right, so let's try this now. It's nice. It's not. How's my CPU? It's not bad actually. Oh, take that, Wirecast. All right, here come those Mercuries. And there's my other Mercury.
It's Mercuries everywhere.
Yeah.
I wonder what a group of Mercuries is called. Mercurial?
There you go. There you go. There's how'd it like that? Seemed okay. I'd like to if people can tell me actually if it's somehow messing with the streaming quality, that would be very cool. So then I can add some stars. I can add some planets. I can add some moons. I can add some minor stuff. I can add it.
Saturn is the question that we're getting.
Can I speed up the rotation of Saturn?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So I click on it. I can change all of its various functions. I can say how old it is, what its surface temperature is very high right now.
Yes.
I can change its velocity. I can change its rotation speed, right? So right now it's rotating at 9.55 kilometers per second. I can change that to, I don't know, 30. And then it rotates faster.
If you rotate it fast enough, does it flatten?
I don't know. I don't think so. Doesn't seem to be.
Oh, sadness.
Yeah. Doesn't seem to be flattening out the way Jupiter would.
Okay, maybe they just don't have that physics in there.
Yeah. Or because they have Jupiter. I don't know. It's funny. All right, so let me just start a new simulation up. 75 moons orbiting the Earth. So here they all are. See? All orbiting. Let's just speed this up. Let's get some mayhem going. And so you see the Earth itself changes depending on what these moons do. They're colliding into each other. Oh! That one's really gonna do some damage. You can... So I'll show you the Roche limit that I was mentioning. Well, so physics... so Roche... Alright, so let's do a binary Earth... So that's what a binary system of Earths would look like, but they're one Earth radii apart.
That's cool.
Yeah. Let's put a black hole in. Let's see.
Can you recreate the scenario from Seven Eves? Patsy Tucker is asking.
Let me see.
Sounds like you did that the other day.
So I'll do that in a second here. So this is Game of Thrones. So it's recreating the Game of Thrones, the way the stars work and the way the planet works, which is pretty neat. Where was there was the crashing the moon into the... Where's my Roche limit?
You're such a sad demonic planet destroyer.
There we go. So here's your Roche limit. Here's your 7 Eves. Just speed this up. You see the pieces coming down? Yeah, there's a hard rain falling. Yeah. Which is pretty cool.
Seven Eves is such an amazing book. If any of you haven't read it, you really should. It's by Neil Stevenson. And it's just, it gets into epigenetics, it gets into science fiction, you name it, it goes there.
Yep. All right, so let me see if I can, kill.
You're going to kill your killer simulation?
Yeah. Let me see if I can do this, and we'll be back. Yes. Okay, and then I'm going to I'll bring up Kerbal now, so people can see that. All right. There we go. Okay. So how did the frame rate look? Because I couldn't see the chat.
I thought it looked great, and everyone online was saying that it looked great. Well.
Okay, good. Well, I will load up Kerbal now in the background. I have 1,000 games on my Steam library. 1,000.
If you played a different game every day, it would take you 3 years to get through your games.
It'll never happen. All right. I have a problem. Stephanie Martinez wants to know, does the game for the most part stick to true physics properties? Yeah, I mean, they do. It's just how much they can dedicate to it, right? I mean, it's just, when I talk to them, they're taking shortcuts wherever they can. So... to make it work and not destroy your computer. Okay, cool. Patsy Tucker is saying that it took Neil Stevenson like a decade to write 7 Eves.
I just love the set of emotions on those 3 Kerbal Knots faces.
Yeah, well, people can't see it. All right, I'll bring that up now. Okay. Let's see if I can do this. I guess I'll... No, I can't maximize it. No. Okay, let me see if I can... This is the first time I've ever used this software, so... Game capture...
It worked so easily for the other one.
So here. All right. It's a little bigger. All right, so here we are. You can see it, Pamela?
Yes.
You can't hear it, unfortunately.
That's okay.
Yeah. I'll have to figure that out. I have new technology. Okay. So I'll start a game. I'll start a new one. Just a sandbox. I'll just overwrite my existing sandbox. All right. Okay, fine. All right, so let's go to the vehicle assembly building. We'll just do the simplest possible rocket here. So we'll build a... Oh, okay. Oh, I already have one. Okay. So here's my command module. Right there. I will put in an engine. Which engine do I like? I want a bigger one than that. That's too big. That'll do. Okay. All right. Let's get a fuel tank. A solid rocket booster. We don't want that. All right. Well, we do, but we don't want it yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
We'll start with liquid.
What's going on with this? Okay. That one regular. Okay, good. All right. So we got a. There. So that is your basic rocket right there. And then I'm going to put on some aerodynamics. So you can sort of make them have symmetry. So we'll do that. So let's get 3 there. All right. I like to save my Kerbals, so I will give him a parachute.
I like. So this is also the you're having a bad day, so you can destroy your Kerbal. So for the folks who are asking, we are now using Open Broadcaster software instead of Wirecast
today.
And yeah. And we're stupidly happy with it. And
what do you mean? Until it's inevitable betrayal. Don't be ridiculous.
Until it's inevitable betrayal.
Yeah.
It's true. Although, how many years have we been using Audacity for?
Okay, so I think this is it, and so let me just show you here. So the important thing is you set the stages right. So the first stage is the rocket goes off. The second stage is the parachute goes off. So there we go, ready to go to the launch pad. All right, so here we are. There's my rocket on the pad. There's my pilot, Jebediah Kerman. And they've added female Kerbonauts, which is great, which was a real problem for a while there. But now they've got all the like Konstantina and like all these great Russian names for astronauts and stuff. It's great. Okay, so first thing we'll do, we'll increase the thrust there. So we're ready to go. I'll press the space bar. Here we go.
There she goes.
Now you can see this is my attitude, my orientation of the rocket here. We're just gonna go up and up and up. You can see my fuel over here. And so this is my altitude, 4,000 meters. I'm sort of getting through the thickest part of the atmosphere now. Now the atmosphere is getting a little thinner. Whoa, let's cool it down. All right. All right, I'm out of fuel. So now I'm going to drift up. And then you can see what's happening. So this is going to be my trajectory. Up, that's my apoapsis, sort of the height of my flight. And then I'm going to follow back down and interact with the atmosphere, with the water there. So we'll go back to the launch. Oh, okay. So here we are. Look, see? Jebediah is just fine. Everything is great. Everything is super duper.
And he gets the most amazing facial expressions.
Yeah, like, this is so cute. And then I will just run the speed faster, and then we'll just kind of I'll pop the parachute now. So I just popped open the parachute, and now we'll just let the time run. So now we're coming back down. I'll go at maximum warp. Come on, don't kill any Kerbinauts. There's the moon.
Someone has optimistically said in the chat, sadly, Jeb is gonna die.
It could be true, unless my parachute holds. Oh! No! Yep, I should have made the command module detach as part of my staging. So I would have done that were I a little more careful. And that's it. And so now we can go back to the we can go back to the vehicle assembly, and I can realize my terrible mistake. Crack open the rocket, put in a
separator.
A separator, yeah, and which is my separator I want. These are battery packs. Anyway, you get the gist of it. I put a separator in, and then that way the bottom will pop off. No, it's a docking port. Yeah.
There's one in there. No one can play while someone's watching.
Yeah, exactly. All right, I will see if I can turn that off again. Oops.
Our chat has gotten very dark.
And we're back. Kerbal flags at half staff. Yeah, fast forwarding in the atmosphere is always risky. But that's the gist of both those games. And like I said, if you have a Steam account, then I often see Kerbal Space Program on for 45% off, 40% off, just about $20. Jeb lived from $250 to $254. Yeah, I didn't. There was no horizontal velocity. Yeah, I didn't do any horizontal velocity on that one. Yeah, but you can.
I sometimes you just need to kill Jeb.
No, you all Kerbal lives are precious, and they all need to be protected. I don't know. I feel bad. They're so cute. So, but yeah, Kerbal flags at half staff. The exploration of space just goes on. But yeah, we can do this all day. We can play video games all day. But we should probably wrap things up.
I don't install any.
Yeah. It's a great way to just hang with the kids and be able to spend time with them and do that kind of thing. So I know, and once your dogs evolve hands and want to play video games with you, you're probably safe.
It's true. It's true.
All right, you're looking at a screen. You're not actually looking at me. Very professional of you, Pamela. There. Now I'm a little tweaked, but anyway. Cool. Well, should we wrap things up?
We probably should.
All right. Well, let's do that then. So thanks, everyone, for watching. Once again, make sure you subscribe to Astronomy Cast on all the places. Thumbs up this video if you found this even mildly entertaining. And follow our Twitters and, I don't know, do whatever you like.
I'm Star Strider. He's F. Cain. We're both attached to our keyboard.
All the time. Yeah, exactly.
All the time.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, everyone. Thanks, Pamela. And we'll see you all later.
Sounds great.
How do I make this thing stop now? Okay,
hold on. I don't know.
Hold on. Let's see if this is it. Stop streaming.